I'm Felicia,
And I'm Ian.
and we are the Paranormal Lovers.
Hello, paranormal dudes, dudettes, and dudays. Welcome back to another episode of the Paranormal Lovers.
Hey guys,
Hey, guys.
welcome back. Thanks for joining us for episode 72.
Shoot, my screen is like super bright.
You're just pale. It's not your screen, it's not your phone, it's your skin. Because you are pasty pale, sir.
Blinded by the light.
I tell you what. Plus, you're closer to the ceiling, so the
I am
ceiling
closer to
light.
the light too, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
yeah, because the way the tripod is.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick bit of business. We have a Memorial Day sale going on over at theparanormallovers.threadless.com for $13 t-shirts and up to 40% off everything else until May 27th.
Although we do not support the government, we do support our troops.
Yes. I had to think about that for a minute. I was like, yes. Yeah. I don't have to agree with the wars that they're fighting to support them.
Yeah.
And the bullshit that they go through while they're over there fighting these wars. And then
Such
the bullshit that the government dumps on them when they get back. Just like, hey,
Yeah.
welcome back to America. Function like a normal fucking person after you've been murdering people for the last few months. Have fun.
Here's a no house to go along with you, no legs. It's shitty.
We want to talk about some veteran. I will argue all day. I got too many vets in my family.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me so mad. But yeah, spend money on us. That would be nice. All right. What did you love about this week, Bill?
Well, you know what I liked? Cypress Hill.
Oh,
Woo.
I was like,
I went and seen Cypress Hill.
You did go see
Amazing.
Cypress Hill. You sure did go get see Cypress Hill, and you got to see the lights.
Yeah, oh yeah, I saw the Northern Lights too. I went outside one night and was like staring at them.
Yeah, it looked like the blood moon outside.
Oh man, it was so weird.
You came in and you like pushed back the curtain. You're like, look outside, and I was like half asleep already.
Yeah, I tried to wake her up.
And I looked out the window, and because I was in that weird state, like right where you're getting ready to fall asleep, my brain saw the moon, but then it was like red, and my brain went, nah, just go back to sleep. It doesn't look right. We're not going to question that. We're just going to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So I said, take some pictures, and I went back to sleep. But I did try and stay up the next night, but I didn't get to see it, so blurg.
Luckily, one of Felicia's friends is a photographer, and she caught some good shots of it.
Yeah, she got
shared
some really
it with
cool
her
shots. And then, of course, everybody was flooding social media.
Yeah.
With their Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis.
My Russian astronomer friend, my Russian astronomer YouTuber guy said that it was like a Carrington event. So it's interesting.
It is interesting. At this point, millennials are just like, meh.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is new?
It's true.
When's another natural event gonna happen? Whatever.
Cut it out.
Yeah, but I haven't eaten today.
Yeah. What'd you love about this week? Sorry.
I'm just sitting here like, do.
Is he gonna say it?
Yesterday was fun. We had this little capstone thing for Patty's school where we got to go around and like see different stuff that they've learned about throughout the year, like simple machines, Native American history, or crafts, animals, goats. I got to hold a little baby goose yesterday.
That's cute.
I wanted to bring it home so bad.
Yeah.
I want some baby birds to lay me some eggs.
They're cute when they're babies.
I've never eaten goose eggs, so I don't know how that would be.
My buddy that I set molds with, he said they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would try it. It would be. I would call it my guard goose because geese are mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure if you get one as a baby and it like gets attached to you, it'd be like a little guard goose for you,
It's funny.
fucking people up.
His mom mixed him with like regular eggs, so like that he wouldn't know.
That's funny.
So like, and then later on she was like, "So those were duck eggs."
Yeah, that's not cool. I appreciate like I'm fine with people doing that because like I don't mind trying new stuff anyways. I will try anything once.
Right.
But like I remember somebody did that to my mom once.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember if it was rabbit or turtle, but
Right.
they fed her a stew with one of those meats in it and didn't tell her what it was until after she ate it and she beat the shit out of them.
Right.
Just don't do that. That's not nice.
I mean, people have allergies too, so it's
People do
not
have
good to do
allergies,
to
and
people
honestly, whether you like to believe it or not, like that is assault
for sure.
on a person, like forcing them to eat something that you know that they would not be comfortable eating.
Mm-hmm.
That's assault. Don't
Right.
do that. All right. Well, with it still being Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, I wanted to head to the Pacific Islands to see what we could find. And what I found is a small isolated island, or rather an atoll, or a ring shaped island formed on the rim of a prehistoric volcano that sits almost dead center of the Pacific Ocean, that is said to be one of the most haunted places in that ocean.
Nice.
It's Palmyra, it's Palmyra Island, is one of the Northern Line Islands and is located about a third of the way between Hawaii and American Samoa. The island is about a mile long and wide, and the overall land area is 4.6 square miles or 12 square kilometers. It has about 9 miles or 14 kilometers of sea facing coastline and reef.
Wow, that is amazing.
It's beautiful, ain't it?
It's beautiful.
It is part of the Pacific Remote Islands Maritime National Monument, quote, the world's largest marine protected area, end quote.
That's awesome.
There are over 150 species of coral, and the Western Reef Terrace is one of the biggest shelf reefs in the world.
Looks like there's a like a plane crash there. Yeah.
We'll get to it. There are no permanent residents on the island, but there are a few dozen researchers, scholars, and other staff that live part time at the island doing scientific research. Which, like, sign me the fuck up.
Hell yeah.
The first alleged sighting of the island came in 1798 by the crew of the Betsy. Anyways, Captain Edmund Fanning from Connecticut was having a rough night sleeping as the ship sailed the Pacific. 3 times that night he was awoken for no real reason, and on the third time he had the crew quote unquote heave to, or basically idle the ship for the night. The next morning when the crew set sail again, they spotted land rather quickly, confirming for the captain his decisions to stop sailing and wait for daylight. If they had kept going, they very well could have hit the reef and sank.
Wow.
This account has been heavily debated, especially since the captain did not mark the location on a map, just noted it in his log. But January 1st, 1816, the Esperanza left Peru allegedly loaded down with looted treasure, headed for the Spanish West Indies. During their journey, they sailed into a storm that severely damaged the ship. They were able to get the ship to shore, but then they were boarded and looted by pirates.
Yar.
Yar. All of the treasure and crew were loaded onto the pirate ships, and the Esperanza was left to sink. About a month and a half into this journey to Mako, I'm going to say that. It's got a CAO, and I never know how to pronounce that. They ran into another storm, this one pushing the pirate ship into the reef off of Palmyra Island. Palmyra. Sorry. I want to call it Palermo, and I don't know why. Palmyra Island. And
Palmyra.
breaking the mast off the ship. All 90 men on the ship, pirates and captives, were able to pull the ship to shore, but it was not operable. They took the loot off the ship, split some of it up among the men, and buried the rest. They patched up part of the ship, and most of the men, roughly 80 of them, set sail from the island, never to be seen or heard from again.
Wow.
The remaining men lived on the island for roughly a year. In that time, they scavenged what they could and set to building a raft. It took about 3 months, and in the end, 6 men boarded the raft. 4 of the men would get swept overboard during a storm, but the last 2 men would get picked up by an American whaler headed for San Francisco.
Hmm.
One of the men would die about 30 minutes after they were picked up, but the sole survivor, James Hines, was taken to the hospital where he lived for 30 days before he passed away. During this time in the hospital, he did write letters detailing the whole ordeal as well as the location of the treasure. These letters were allegedly held by a sailor until he was deployed, and then allegedly he gave these letters to Captain William Foster for safekeeping, but that sailor never returned. The captain held on to the letters for 20 years before he finally revealed them to a reporter who published the details. Um, and it might get annoying. I switch back and forth between calling it an island and an atoll
Mm-hmm.
because technically it is an atoll, but throughout the research, people kept calling it both. So I
Right.
kind of do. And while it's not one solid island, it's more like several small islands with like little creeks and lagoons and inlets. That's what they're called, inlets and stuff going through it.
Sure.
But it's all based around one volcano.
Nice.
Now, the first scientific expeditions to the atoll were in 1842 by the USS Porpoise. Charles Wilkes led the expedition to collect samples of flora, fauna, and animals that were native to the island. In a written recording, Charles mentions inhabitants of the island, quote, "This island is inhabited. It is to be regretted that all these detached islands should not be visited by our national vessels and friendly intercourse kept up with them. The benefit and assistance that any shipwrecked mariners might derive from their rude inhabitants would repay the time, trouble, and expense such visits would occasion." End quote. So in the 1800s, obviously people lived there and they were assholes. I don't know. I don't know if it was indigenous people, pirates. I don't know.
Just shipwrecked people.
And they were just like, there's people there, and then that was the last we ever heard of them, kind of. But last we heard of them in the 1800s.
Right.
In 1859, the island was claimed under the Guano Islands Act by Alfred Benson and Dr. Garrett P. Judd for the U.S.
Guano.
Batshit. If no one knows, if someone doesn't know what guano is, it's batshit.
Go watch Ace Ventura. Guano.
But there was no guano. No guano over there. So
Right.
the claim was dropped. In 1862, the island was annexed for the Kingdom of Hawaii.
Nice.
Yay. I wish I lived in the Kingdom of Hawaii back when Hawaii was its own kingdom.
Right.
Ownership of the island passed through many hands over the next century, starting with the beneficiaries of the original landowners and over time being sold off piece by piece. In 1889, unaware of Hawaii's claim, the atoll was claimed for the UK. In 1898, the US stole the Kingdom of Hawaii. I said what I said. Fight me. Including Palmyra, and made it an incorporated territory of the US. On June 4th, 1900, Palmyra became part of the new US territory of Hawaii. The island became a naval base during World War II and was an important place for refueling and training. Over 6,000 soldiers and officers were stationed here, which, if you look at a picture of it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't look like there's enough damn space for 6,000 people.
No, it sure doesn't.
Like, I'm guessing obviously they weren't there all at one time. They were probably coming through refueling, training, whatever. But like,
right.
That's a small damn place to have a base.
For sure.
And like, they built buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
They had a base.
Right.
It was shelled once but did not take any damage. After the war, most of the buildings and equipment were torn down and removed, and the land returned to private ownership. When Hawaii became a U.S. state in 1959, Palmyra was separated and became its own incorporated territory. In 1947, Palmyra became the site of a murder.
Mm.
Malcolm Mack Graham and his wife Eleanor Muff Graham were murdered by Dwayne Buck Walker. His girlfriend Stephanie Starnes was also initially charged, but there was no evidence of her involvement, so the charges were dropped. In 1974, the Grahams were sailing the Pacific on their yacht when they made a stop at Palmyra. Walker had been living on the island for a while. What do you guess Walker was doing on this island, Bill?
I don't know.
It's a island out in the middle of Pacific Ocean, 1,000 miles from Hawaii.
Fishing?
No.
No.
He growing something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He was running a grow up.
Nice.
And when he and Stearns showed up in the Graham's yacht without them, and I think they showed up in Honolulu, they were arrested for boat theft. But with the Grahams missing and the nature of their journey, the two were not yet charged with their murders. That would come 6 years later in 1981 when another couple was walking on the beach and they found a metal container that looked like it was left over from the military. Beside the container on the beach was wire. When they opened the lid, they found a heavily damaged and decomposed body.
Ugh.
An autopsy confirmed that it was the corpse of Eleanor Graham. She had been either shot or bludgeoned in the head, had her body dismembered and burned, then placed in the container. The container was then wrapped with the wire and thrown in a lagoon.
So the grow up guy killed him?
Yeah, Dwayne Walker.
Hmm.
Walker was found guilty and spent 22 years in prison. When he got out, he wrote a book about his life on the island and his version of events. He claimed that he and Eleanor were having sex when Mac caught them. In a fit of rage, Mac took out a gun and started shooting, hitting Eleanor.
Oh, shit.
Walker claims that the next day he was on the beach when he ran into Mac and a gunfight broke out, and it was during this that Mac was shot and died. Mac Graham's body has never been found.
Well,
so take that with a grain of salt.
Right.
In December of
Lovers quarrel.
Yeah. In December of 2000, the Nature Conservancy bought the most of the atoll, with more being bought later by the U.S. government. In 2001, the atoll and the surrounding 12 nautical miles of ocean were designated as a national wildlife refuge.
Nice.
The atoll is closed to commercial fishing, but some recreational and sport fishing is allowed. But you have to get a permit.
Oh, I want to go fish.
Yeah, you have to get a permit. Listen, if you want to like fish to get some food to bring home to eat, fine. I don't like sport fishing. I don't want to fucking fish on my wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I don't do that anyways.
I know you don't. But I was thinking about that the other day. I
catch and release.
This is like totally off topic, but like when I was doing the research and I saw sport fishing, I thought about it and I was like, sport fish. And I thought about it like, yeah, like marlins and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's sport fish. And that's just a fucking waste of a fish.
Yeah.
That is such a waste of a fish.
For sure.
Like, what do? You just fishing to catch it and put it on the wall? Just.
Yep. Taxidermist.
You got a small dick, so you need a big fish?
I guess.
Is that the big truck guys? They need a big fish? Anyways. In 2009, Palmyra Island, as well as several others, were established as the Pacific Remote Islands Marine National Monument. In 2011, a program was launched to rid the atoll of the 30,000 rats that were a result of World War II being put there, the base being put there.
I seen a picture of a little rat that was all like scrawny looking on there.
It worked, but unfortunately some of the native animals also got into the chemicals that they used.
Oh no.
Which I didn't really see what the effect of that was, like long term. They were just like, yeah, they tested these animals and they had the chemical in them. Okay, and nothing. Now, a good side effect of this is that with the death of the rats, I think it's like the Chinese tiger mosquito that feeds off of rats also died out on the island.
Nice.
So,
Well, that's
yay.
good.
Y'all don't know how we feel. We
Hate
hate
mosquitoes.
mosquitoes. We live in a damp area.
Yep.
Like, we live in a rainforest, so
Mm-hmm.
it's buggy. You can visit the atoll, but it is not easy, nor is it cheap. Keep in mind, this island is hundreds of miles from any civilization and in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Looks like it has an airstrip running down the middle of it.
I'll get
But
to it. Um, it is like, but it's like literally almost perfectly center of the Pacific Ocean
that's
from
amazing.
Japan to America, Hawaii, like down south. It's
Right in the middle.
a little itty bitty tiny fucking speck of land.
Yep.
I imagine. Could you imagine? Oh, I bet it would have been so cool back in the day when it was a volcano, like above the sea level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, quote: Public access to Palmyra Atoll is self limiting due to the very high expense of traveling to such a remote location. The Nature Conservancy owns and operates the only airplane runway on Palmyra, and by boat, it is a 5 to 7 day sailing trip from Honolulu.
Wow.
There are 4 ways the public may gain access to the refuge. 1. Work for, contracting with, or volunteering for the Nature Conservancy or Fish and Wildlife Service. 2. Conducting scientific research via Fish and Wildlife Service's special uses permits. 3. Invitation through the Nature Conservancy sponsored donors trips. 4. Visitation by private recreational sailboat or motorboat. End quote. So if you're real fucking rich and you got a sailboat, go for it.
Right. I know a guy that's got a sailboat.
Right? Palmyra has been the site of many shipwrecks over the years. In 1802, the ship, the Palmyra, which the island is named after, was wrecked upon the coral reef. In 1870, the Angel was also shipwrecked on the atoll, but when another ship to stop to investigate a few months later, they claimed to have found the crew of the Angel slaughtered all across the atoll.
Oh, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm. Just dead.
Hmm.
With Eleanor's vicious murder and Mac never being found, there have been whispers of their spirits still wandering the island. During the trial for Eleanor's murder, many witnesses testified to how the place made them feel. A yachtsman named Richard Taylor testified about his visit to the island, quote, I had a foreboding feeling about the island. It seemed to be an unfriendly place. I can't put my finger on it specifically why, but it was not an island I enjoyed being on, end quote.
Hmm.
Another witness, Norman Saunders, has done research, actually it may be Sanders, has done research on the island and stated, quote, the island is a very threatening place. It is a hostile place, end quote. In his geological journal, Norman stated the island was, quote, removed from time, the place where even vinyl rots. I have never seen vinyl rot anywhere else. It is a very foreboding place, end quote.
Hmm.
And that word, foreboding, just comes up over and over and over and over and over again in the descriptions about this island. It's so foreboding. And
Hmm.
I'm like, okay.
Maybe I don't want to go there.
Right. During World War II, a few planes vanished while flying over near the island, very much Bermuda Triangle esque. 2 of them in broad daylight.
Hmm.
Naval officer Hal Horton talked about how pilots would complain about equipment malfunctioning on takeoff and landing. He also told a story about how the island was so small that on cloudy days, pilots could easily miss it. Quote, once we heard a plane overhead, but he crashed into the drink before he could find the runway. We didn't get to the poor guy fast enough. Sharks found him first. End quote.
Oh no.
So that ship, that plane,
Sharks.
yeah. Others
Wow.
who testified in the trial described the island as quote unquote spooky, foreboding, and sinister.
Hmm.
Oh, I heard a ringing noise. It's my computer. It's the fan on my computer. It's like, In 1977, the year of my brother's birth, Amanda Lane and her friends were sailing through the area when they made a stop on the island. According to Amanda and her shipmates, there were quote unquote hippies living there that told them one of their friends may have been murdered and that the island was full of quote unquote dangers. Amanda and her
That's
friends
not
left.
cool.
Yeah, Amanda and her friends left quickly after that.
Sounds like a Scooby Doo episode.
It does, but it makes me think it was also probably just like more people out there doing drugs,
Right.
doing shit.
They don't want people there.
So they're like, oh yeah, these people got murdered out here. They should probably skedaddle. In 1987, a sailboat was found drifting off the island. Inside was the skeleton of Edward Manning, who had been on a 3-year sailing trip.
Oh no.
Just, just did.
Gilligan Island gone wrong.
Right. That's exactly. I was like, wait,
Skipper died,
because
man.
it literally said a 3-year journey, and I was
Yeah.
like, a 3-year journey? No, that's a 3-hour tour. Never mind. Another sailboat, the Sea Dreamer, was blown off course by a storm on their way to Hawaii and found themselves at Palmyra. After a day or two, they took off on their way to Hawaii, but were never seen again.
Oh, there's a bird behind you.
In the window?
Yep.
What kind?
I think it was a hummingbird.
Oh, nice. Thankfully, this little slice of paradise is so remote and now so protected that hopefully it will stay one of the last untapped oases of nature. For people who do spend time out there, it is a break away from the hustle and bustle of cities and factories and corporations. It can be jarring, though, to spend months in the middle of the ocean and come back to all the noise we didn't even notice before.
Right.
But for Mac and Eleanor and crews of ships who found themselves at the mercy of those no one knew were living there, it's a pain of place and death. And as we all know, that kind of energy leaves its mark.
For sure.
But I have another theory that popped into my head after talking to Leslie this morning.
Yeah. I bet you do.
So, if anyone listened to our collaboration episode with Chrissy from the Paranormal Misfits, when we interviewed Leslie and Stephen Shaw, the co authors of Who They Are and, hang on, I wrote it down here, Who They Are and What They Are Up to, they are of the school of thought. The aliens that people that used to live here when shit hit the fan and the asteroid hit a long time ago, they used extinct volcanoes and the lava tubes to start their underground cities. So maybe, just maybe, there's some aliens down there just want people to go the fuck away.
Right.
Just go the fuck away.
That would explain the foreboding.
Like, the foreboding
just kind of like
of it. Like, you just don't really want to be there.
They're
like, it's just not a nice place.
Telepathically giving those people the feeling.
And think about like how much reef has grown on that particular atoll. Like, it's one of the largest reef shelves in the ocean.
Right. The only ones we got left.
Yeah. So who knows whether it's aliens or ghosts or just an evil place, or maybe it's just a place. Maybe we should just leave it alone.
For sure.
Just leave it alone.
I mean, if it's giving people that kind of a bad feeling, like, maybe we should just leave it alone.
Well, you know, as humans, we don't need to fucking touch everything we find.
No.
We can leave some stuff untapped and just the way it is.
Sure.
Just leave it alone.
We
shouldn't have to fucking pass laws and make it a national monument for people to leave it the fuck alone.
I see it in our mountains all the time. There's like trails here, and then if you wander off the trail, there's spots in these woods that nobody has been to ever. Like,
yeah, at least not for 100 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's quite possible back in the day people were wandering all over these mountains, but
possible.
Ain't nobody since the time of technology been in them.
Nope.
You know? All right. Well, let's leave Palmyra alone. Let's just leave her alone.
Yeah.
But that's the Palmyra Island Atoll, whatever you want to call it, a little spooky spot in the Pacific. And I don't know. I kind of hope there are some indigenous people living in there.
Yeah.
Just like killing people that are fucking around and leaving the researchers that are being nice alone.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Right.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us this week. If you would like, you can head on over to Facebook, Instagram, and the Tick and Talk and give us a follow. You can watch these videos in form on YouTube by searching for the Paranormal Lovers in the search bar.
Yeah, come check out this one on YouTube because there's like a bird in the window in the middle of it.
If you see that thing flying behind my head, it's not a demon, it's a bird.
Yep.
If you would like some merch, head on over to theparanormallovers.threadless.com to get in on the $13 t-shirt sale and up to 40% off until May 27th.
Got some cool designs.
Mm-hmm. If you would like to support the pod on a regular basis, head on over to patreon.com/paranormal lovers, where you will get early access to Paranormal Lover episodes, as well as a weekly true crime show, Deadly Lovers. Stories of love that drives people to murder.
Check out that extra episode.
Yep, check that out. And we will actually be releasing a free Patreon episode somewhere, I think around the 27th.
Yeah.
That Monday. It's a I'm gonna say MMIR. I like the missing murdered indigenous relative.
Yeah.
Quote. It's a case about that. And it's not one that doesn't have enough coverage on it, which really fucking pisses me off.
Right.
So I'm gonna release that after it's released on Patreon for our paid subscribers. It will be released on this feed for everybody else to listen to, and I hope you guys will share it with everybody and get the word out because I'm so pissed off.
Yeah.
It's not just the murder that pisses me off, it's everything that surrounds this case that pisses me off.
You've talked about this one for a long time, so I know.
Yeah, I've been following stuff.
I know everybody will enjoy it.
I've been following stuff pertaining to this case. Yeah, we know what you mean.
Yeah.
I've been following stuff pertaining to this case for the last couple of years, and yeah. I'm glad that like it's got resolution to a point, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to take care of the issues.
For sure.
That this case highlights. So y'all get ready for that. And we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.
We love you. Bye.
Love you guys. Bye.